salvation can only come from God. That's it. Because He's eternal and He's good. I'm finite. Sometimes I think, oh, I wonder how many more years I have in this life. And life could go like this in a second. I could be walking outside and not get hit by a bus, boom, that's it. I have to find a new Sunday school teacher next week. But that's something else. But you know, or God could extend my time. But there's one certainty, I am going to die. One day, every one of us here is going to die. And the most important question is, where will we spend eternity? The conclusion of the matter is this. Oh, by the way, no. So just finishing on verse 23. No matter how much we deprive the flesh, the soul still cannot be saved without Christ. For several reasons. One, He was without sin. He alone could atone for the sins of the world. Because He was unlike any other man, and He proved it when He rose from the grave. The conclusion to all this is simply this. Christ is the answer. Paul was saying, do not follow after men who will take you outside of Christ. One of two ways: imposition of old practices or introduction of new practices. Stick with the Bible. Paul is saying you have all that you need in Christ. Do not let Christ be displaced by traditions or vain thoughts. You see, Baptists do not ask, does the New Testament forbid this practice? That's not the question. The question is, does the New Testament authorize this practice? It's a big difference. The first one is very broad. Does the New Testament forbid this? No, it doesn't. Adopt it. Baptist says, does the New Testament authorize this practice? No. Reject it. There's going to come a time, hopefully, in every mature Christian, where this is going to be the only thing we'll go to. When I was a young Christian, I read a couple of little commentaries here and there about John, but at one point I realized that I had to go to the Bible. I can't go to commentaries, I can't go to Google, I can't go to YouTube, I can't go to, all of these books, because they're all written by men who are corrupt. And sometimes our flesh could even bring our opinions in. But this is the divine Word of God. Now, I do pray that as Christians, we at the very least have at one time read through it. Because that's very important. You see, because personally, I can't say that I'm a believer, right, unless I've read this through and through. Not just once, but many times. Why? Because I can tell you, personally, I believe this is the Word of God. I've read it. Many detractors have never read it, but I've read it. And after, from Genesis all the way to Revelation, I just said, this is not true. There's no way that all of this is a coincidence. Because this book speaks of history, but it also speaks of my nature. It speaks of who I am. And you know what? It ultimately is a miracle, which will reveal our sinful nature, my sinful nature, and the fact that I need a Savior. And that Savior is Jesus Christ. And so, church, we're going to continue our study. Today was the authority of the New Testament for Christian doctrine, Christian practices. We saw how Paul had to deal with this problem in Colossians 2. We saw, right, I said I pulled up definition of Gnosticism from Wikipedia, not because I go for it as a source, but just to establish that what Paul was writing about in his century actually existed. Because even the history books acknowledged that there were Gnostics who had this same practice, and with that context we read Colossians chapter 2. Next week we will be looking at baptism.